Well, I've got one screw out. I've got somebody who wants to buy the back bumper, but just as I got started, I had a visitor, and I've spent most of the afternoon trying to pump up some suspension on another MGF, but my machine seems to have gone a bit wrong. Regardless, I've made my first sale on Allison the MGF by selling the gear knob for £10 in change. I was just about to set off when I noticed my tyre was almost completely flat again. It's like every other day I'm having to pump it up. By the end of this video, I will have made at least £600 from this car. I'm going to cut in here and say that's a highly optimistic proposition. That's my goal. That means that I cannot give anything away, and normally I do, which is my own downfall. Bumper removal. That's right, bumper removal on this MGF. But because the suspension's dropped so much, I can't get the jack anywhere near underneath it. So I've had to drive over a brake disc just to get the jack under. There's a retaining screw just there somewhere. Then I'm fairly sure it's just 4 bolts that hold the thing in place. We're nearly there. Due to time constraints, etc., I've not had the opportunity to take this car apart in the way that I wanted to do. But I do have to get rid. I have no choice. So it's booked in for Wednesday to be taken away by Baxenden. They're going to give me £200, which is enough for some rent. And I've got to decide now how much of this I will take off, because I don't want to be in a position where I'm storing more and more parts in an area that I want to get rid of to save money. Stop this bollocks now! So I'm going to take the seats, I'm going to take the carpet, I'm going to take the centre console because it's leather, I'm going to take the stereo out even though I've never really figured out how to use it. Unfortunately, I'm going to leave the alloys on because I haven't got anything that will fit. I haven't got any steel wheels that will fit, which is a shame because a couple of the tyres are actually quite good. I've got tools better prepared than before, and I've got a boot full of stuff to get rid of. And then the boot to fill back up with. It may as well have some shit in that I don't particularly want. I'm not being abusive to the system. I'm not putting stuff in there that they really don't want. It's just bits of metal hanging around, etc. Maybe a bit of carpet. In the boot there is some evidence of mice, and I found these things. I was looking for these. Somebody wanted some of these off the later model Rover 25. I'll hang on to them now. I wonder why. Why is that one black on the back and that one's grey, but they're the same colour on the other side? Strange. Very strange. Never mind. If I get the opportunity to keep the TF that's round the back, the replacement wife, I want to put in these seats and that leather centre armrest, but it also needs a door handle. I'm fully expecting this to be a bit of a pain, but removal of the door card at least isn't. It's just a few screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and off it pops. I removed the door handles off the black one when I had that here because somebody asked for them. You know, since then I have found that they are quite weak. The plastic on the outside, and plastic always breaks. As I remember, it was a right pain in the bottom to remove. So I'm going to have a closer look to see if there's an easier way of doing it. It's not a job that I'm looking forward to on the other car, because the window regulator itself isn't quite as easy as what it is in the other Rovers. There are much more bits there that attach itself to the inner door. Clearly, Elizabeth's afraid of the thing and it not going back together with the other car. But without bravery, brave things don't happen. It looks like there are 2 8mm nuts holding the handle in place. I'm sure there was something a bit more to it. I'm sure there was something that made this a real pain at the backside before. I guess I'll find out in a minute. I have since discovered that the door handle can be removed without taking the glass or the window regulator out, because the top of the glass is that shape. So you can undo the two 8mm nuts with the glass right down at the bottom. Good. It's Sunday, and according to my weather map, there's a good chance it might rain soon. Does anybody like rain? Because cars like this, you'd think, just don't really belong here. Having no roof, and not only having no roof, but having a wiper motor that's vulnerable for going wrong due to the fact that water can just come straight through the scuttle and onto the top of the motor, making them break. So that is a valuable part which I must take off. Surprisingly enough, the wiper arms came off without a struggle. And even more surprisingly, the scuttle panel came off without a struggle, without a fight, and without damage. But then it came to the two retaining nuts just here that are huge. Normally they're on just a bit more than finger tight. Didn't really want to come off. So I'll come back to that. Headlamp out. Nice and easy job. Not so easy on the other side. And at this point I may as well access the engine and take a few ancillaries. When I say ancillaries, I just mean the alternator really. I'm not too bothered about the other stuff. Or am I? Because some of the other stuff might be useful. Let's find out whether it is or not. Go! Unfortunately, the roof of the MGF is always going to leak, which is why cars like this tend to live inside, in garages. They're more of a summer car, in case you didn't know. But unfortunately, this one spent its winter outside. Yes, the water's managed to get through the gap in the screen and find itself just settling on here, where it's all soaking and stinking. And that also means that some of these nuts that hold this lid on may not want to come off. I was right. So a couple of them have come out, but that one there has rounded itself into uselessness. Although it's not rounded at all because it's a screw head. Even so, that makes it even less usable. It's not going to come out. The only way I'm going to get that lid off now is to make sure the other two will come off and then bend it out of the way, which is not really how I want to do things. After a bit of effort and a bit of heaving and a bit of bending, finally I get to see my MGF's engine. Odd to think that this is the first time I have seen this engine, but now at least I can get to the alternator. And you see that there. What would be the chances of removing that alternator with that engine cover in place? Not much. I am actually feeling quite remorseful about this though. It's just, obviously I've committed myself to taking it apart, and I've already sold the bumper off the back and the gear stick. Something else as well. Can't think of what it is. I've been pondering about something. A little problem that I have quite a lot, which is flat batteries. I have some jump leads, but they've gone wrong. And I have some jump leads knocking about that are not that good. It just doesn't give the potential electricity transmission through the cable because they're not thick enough. But I'm thinking now of making like some short cables, like jump cables. So I could bung like a big battery in the well there on this MGF and just connect it, and it'll help start it much better than using the jump pack. Over there we see a rubbish jump lead, but some grippers. Yes, the crocodile teeth that are needed. And also I have, from a few years back, some properly thick cable taken from a BMW, because BMW of course store their batteries in the boot, so then they need this great length of cable That's actually quite valuable, but I may as well use some of it because I'm not going to be fixing a BMW that's had its wiring disappear. Let's use this. Ooh, that's hot enough. So the idea is I've clamped that onto there. That's already making a connection, but if I run a line of solder down there to really secure it, bring over the heat sheet, that shrink wrap sleeving, then I may well provide myself with the best pair of jump leads a boy can have. I'll tidy this up in a minute. Let's go to the next one. Right, let's see whether it works. Today is Monday, the 8th of December, and I'm awaiting a gift. That's good to be exciting, but in the meantime, I'd quite like to get the MGF back outside to give me some better access to the bits I would like to take off. Originally, I just hooked it up to the Volvo and yanked it out, and then I pulled it out by putting a ratchet strap on the back. That worked quite well with the help of two small people, but with a bit of determination, maybe I can do it all by myself and save the Volvo a job. I've had 2 eggs this morning, cooked in butter ghee, so good chance of this working. On the Trophy Blue TF, it's got a hole in the suspension arm, but this one hasn't. So the sensible thing to do would be to, rather than spending £70 or whatever it is to buy a new one, would be just to take this one off. In theory, it is 4 undos and that's it, and then it should slide off. That's right, I said it, don't copy it. 4 undos. And then on the other car, 4 undos and 4 do-ups. There comes a point where you think, that's enough. But you're not going to think that by looking at this car, are you? Not really. That suspension arm, in principle, very easy to do. In practice, it means unbolting part of the subframe to actually get it off. And I've started doing that, but I've not done it enough to actually get it off just yet. So tomorrow, hopefully, I'll get some more progress before it goes dark. Hello, I'm hungry, and so it's about time I had myself a weird lunch made by me. In here we have 1 boiled egg, some homemade mozzarella, and then a tin of sardines mixed with yogurt and my own chili paste. You bet it's good.